Okay, last time was extremely janky. I'm hoping that this time will be less janky, but it may still get divided up into several 20-minute pieces and spliced, because I really can only do ones that are about 20 minutes long right now. Actually, in about, let's see here, 5 days, there might be actually a block of time where I could actually do like 8 hours at once or something. So maybe that's coming up. But this one's only going to be another 20-minute segment. There's going to be an awkward splice. I got to remember that right now I have my noise filter off because I don't trust it anymore because it messed me up last recording. It's hard to notice when it cuts off your microphone like in the middle of a recording because you're not paying attention to that the whole time. You're paying attention to the game. So there's going to be more background noise in this from the microphone than there might be usually. But that's what I do. I'd rather have that than have what happened to me last time happen. Now I have to remember here that slot 21 was saved at 21 hours 20 and 22 was saved at 20:25. So I actually want to salute slot 21, which is actually the most recent, although it's pre-highlighted, so that's fine.
どっかの誰かさんと違ってね。
Oh, where is my window? Okay, hold on a bit. I always have something, like, I have to open like 5 or so things every time I want to run this, and there's always something I'm forgetting. There it is. Oh, I'm also forgetting this. Um, I'll put that into Google Translate. It's probably about makes sense you're different from a certain someone might be like, oh, you're actually smarter than Takeshi. Um, like the previous line could have been something about being smart or something. It's like unlike some other guy. I'm throwing like a side insult, but because I don't remember what was I read on the end of the previous recording, I don't remember the context, so I don't know what she's talking about. Yeah, that was probably it. But the I guess as I learned it's pronounced now, doesn't if the I doesn't sink, doesn't it means it's not heavy enough, right?
そう。だから、重さを増やさないとね。
That's why we have to increase the weight. Yeah, they'll probably just grab stuff from the warehouse and pile it up in the elevator. The only suggestion I have from where they're going that they're going to actually bring in the awkwardly shoehorn in the giant frozen tuna is that that's actually a CG in the original, and so they might want to try to they seem to be trying to reuse all the CGs. Some of them modified, of course. So desire to use that CG might come into play. We split up to look for something to weigh it down with. Being a lot more patient than Tsugumi, who's just like, well, pooey. Not heavy enough, whatever. I want to die anyway. I'm going to do something kind of semi-suicidal. We decided to split up and go find something that could serve as weight. And then a few minutes later...
どっこいしょっと。
How is that 1 through 4? It like Sino-Japanese? Okay, Google Translate says let's go. It might be that it's just kind of mangled by trying to put like an effortless accent into it. And that's why the translators don't know what that is. I mean, 1, 2, 3, and 4 in Japanese is ichi. Sometimes that's abbreviated to ich, depending on the context. Ni, san, and yon, which you don't see in here at all. If you're using a counter, if you're doing counting, sometimes it gets turned to a different form, like 2 gets to be like a hu thing, like futsuka or futari. Futsuka, the second day. Futari, 2 people. 3 can turn into a mi sort of thing, like mika, the third day. Mitsu, 3 things, right? 4 still tends to be yon or yo, although in some old school stuff it can actually be she. But because, I guess, shimimas, or, I'm trying to remember what the second syllable is. I actually haven't really learned the word formally. The first syllable of the words for to die and also to kill in Japanese start with is she, right? And so it's kind of bad luck. And that's why they use yon for 4, even though there might be some historically they used to use she. Anyway. But I don't see any of that. Like, I don't see like fu, mi, yon, eats. Like that kind of sequence either. So there's no way this could be 1, 2, 3, 4 in any sort of stretch of the imagination. Took way too long explaining that. So let's go might be more accurate, maybe. Takeshi came here with a big plant flower pot. Wait. I mean, I see tree. Are there any kanji that are wrong? Yes, there's the one for word. I say got messed up. That's where the jang comes from. We also got this inserted kigi in there. Yeah, I presume it is a large potted plant, but that one kanji, let's see if I have it in my notepad file. I think Notepad it only encodes for certain kanji, unfortunately. Oh, I have it. Okay, I can do this better then. Okay, let's grab that kanji. Takeshi arrived carrying a large potted plant. That's it. Okay.
えっちらほい、おっちらほい。
And you comes carrying something different. I mean, ecchi does mean like dirty jokes, like back of the school bus jokes. But that's probably not what they were going for here. They just wanted like effortless carrying noises, right? You brought a stone of blue ornament. Okay, so that makes sense. She brought like a stone. We all should have something like that in Lamu. You wouldn't want heavy stuff in Lamu, but they had the whole Lemurian ruin thing in Lamu, but I would think that would just be like hollow plastic, you know, facsimiles. By the way, what I brought was a machine that looked like a plastic bucket flipped over. So a paper shredder, maybe?
なんだ少年、お前そんなの持ってきたのか?
What's that, boy? You brought something like that? Question. I copied instead of pasted. Such is my life. Oh, what's that, boy? Did you bring that? Something like that. I think the kid or boy or whatever. I don't know what this is. What's that supposed to mean? It was lying nearby with tires attached. So it just was easy to carry. Oh, so is it a Roomba?
お前な、それ、お掃除ロボだぞ。
Is this gonna come up later? You know, that's a cleaning robot. Oh, okay. Close. Cleaning robot?
それはレミューが閉館した時、人知れず活躍するお掃除ロボだ。今は停電の影響で作動してないみたいだけどな。
I guess cleaning robots are going to be important to the plot later. Maybe having something to do with, I don't know, bring up the topic of robot dogs. That's a cleaning robot that works in the public eye or out of the public eye when the mood closes down. It doesn't seem to be working right now because of the blackout, though.
へえ、蔵なり、よくそんなマニアックなこと知ってんのね。これって一般客にはおいそれとは目に触れないもんなんだけどね。
Hey, Kurinari, why do you suddenly know so much about Lemu? You weren't supposed to know anything about Lemu. You're breaking your character. Well, Kurinari is surprised you know such a thing. Which kanji got messed up? I don't know. This is something... This is something that most people... hey, wow, Kurinari, you know a lot about such nerdy stuff. This is something that most people don't see that often.
それはだな。俺ってロボマニアなんだよ。だからお掃除ロボだって知ってるんだ。
Oh, I gotta clean up my mess. I accidentally broke my character. Oh, well, I'm a robot maniac. That's why I know about cleaning robots. I don't think Takeshi was a robot maniac. Oopsies. Zura. More such things. Oh, this is Sarah. So Sarah's making Zuru sounds. Is Sarah bringing the tuna? While having this conversation, I heard a sound of something heavy being dragged. Everyone turned to the source of the sound.
みんなお待たせ。しょっと、よいしょ。
Sorry to keep you waiting, everyone. Sarah is dragging something heavy. I don't think there's a back end there. It's just she's dragging something heavy.
マヨ、あんた一体何を持ってきたのよ。
Mayo, what did you bring? With emphasis. That's the heaviest things. You got the cleaning robot, the potted plant, both of which shouldn't weigh very much compared to a person. Forgot what you brought. Sarah, is that... something huge? That is...
それってマグロだよな。んなもんどっから仕入れてきたんだよ。
That's a tuna, isn't it? Where'd you get that stuff? Get that from?
向こうの通路に落ちてたんだよ。
From the corridor over there.
多分浸水の時、厨房の冷蔵庫から流れてきたんじゃないのかな。
Reizoko means for fridge, by the way. I can pick up that. I picked up one word in that voice line. Probably from the risotto, which is fridge, in the kitchen during the flooding. Just kind of came out of the fridge. Just like in the original, actually. Sara smiled as she said that. Except the original, there's like all kinds of like stuff strewn around. There's like fish from the ocean in the corridors. Okay, yeah, they gotta reuse the CG. So they decide on the tuna. Slowly, I began to dive or sink. The kid just doesn't have to hold the tuna because, well, he can't be in the shot because his clothes are actually different. And so, in the cramped eye, the four of us went down to Dritte stock, holding the tuna in our arms. Peeking out the window, I saw Lemu's exterior beyond my blue field of vision. Okay, I don't see anything. You could have just left the tuna on the floor. That's the weird. Why are they? It didn't make any sense in the original. They just did that. They just had them holding the tuna so they could draw that. Like the heavy iron outer wall slowly recedes into the distance. The blue spreading out from all the windows gradually grew denser and darker. We were silent during that time. What in the world am I supposed to, what are we supposed to talk about in this stupid state in the first place? Like, why are we holding this thing? Why isn't it just on the floor? That's when Takeshi said something.
しべたい
Which is, I want to chibe. What's that mean? Come on, LCR. I want to eat. Is another word for eat? I thought it was tabe-tai. I guess chibe-tai is another word to say it. I mean, they both have a bay in them. No, okay. Anyone who knows Japanese well, like what context would you use chibe-tai as opposed to tabe-tai? It's clear that everyone was thinking the same thing. Chibe-tai. I glanced at the other luggage that had been brought in. Kind of weird, but I don't think I've ever actually like looked at a fish and thought, man, I'm hungry. Yes, I like to eat fish, but it's hard to look at the whole animal. It's like looking at a cow and being like, oh, I want beef Wellington right now. You know, it's like you just go, oh, that thing probably stinks. That thing really doesn't have to make the decisions that me as a human have to make. You, Takeshi, and I brought in something to the elevator floor. Huh? I ask a simple question. Hey, Takeshi, why are you all carrying the tuna in your hands? Are we? Because they're lonely. Takeshi and the others didn't respond. But after a while, Takeshi said something.
多分国際条約で禁止されそうなほどの貴重品だからなんじゃないのか。
It's probably because it's too valuable. What? Maybe because it's so valuable that it is prohibited by international treaty. And that is correct. The kanji are correct. To put it prohibited by international treaty to just put it on the floor. And then you guys, they bought him into the rails, right? Imagine if they had to go it would be troll, right? What if the generator was on a it was Vitae stock? You had to stop it midway, right? I guess you could try to pull the lock and hope the lock mechanism was in such a way that it would like rest on it. The eye experienced a dull impact. A dull impact hit the eye. Takeshi let go of the tuna, which is prohibited by international treaty to do, and turned the handle on the watertight door. You gotta lock the thing first, Takeshi. Oh, we're just not gonna deal with it. And then the door opened. With the frozen tuna in our arms, we stepped out onto the floor at once. Let's leave it here, but it's not said, it's a thought. The kid thinks, so then let us leave it here.
サムサム、それで発電室ってどっちだ？
So dark, right? Oh, it's just he's just like, which way is the generator room? He's just making noises and then it's generator room. Takeshi folded his arms and moved his body, trying to warm himself up while holding his mouth. Everyone like froze their arms. What smug? Is that just like, I guess probably, which kanji is wrong? Come on. Okay, I couldn't identify it. So yeah, I guess he's... holding his face. His mug.
そうね。このままじゃ施設内も冷えてくるし、風邪ひいちゃうわね。とにかく動きましょう。こっちよ。
You're right. At this rate, the facility will get cold. And you'll catch a cold. You'll also just freeze. Anyway, let's move this way. But the cold you're experiencing isn't, as bad as, cold caused by the facility cooling down. Because remember, you were holding a frozen tuna. With that, Yuna started walking. We followed after her. Because of the blackout, the lights were off, but perhaps because of the bright display of the night lights burning, the entire corridor seemed to be glowing hazily. Due to the power outage, the lights were off, but perhaps due to the bright luminous signs, the entire corridor appeared to be faintly glowing. Spoilers. It's like, how can they see in the dark if Tsugumi isn't there with them? Which in this game they made obvious from the beginning that she can somehow see in the dark, right? They didn't hide that in any way. Play the original, you know. Although I didn't explain how you could. Ryogo. I said Ryogo. The Takeshi character is interesting. We don't actually know if he can see in the dark or not, even in the original. It's unclear. In the original actually claimed he couldn't at one point, in a way. We'll get to, the way in which he claims he can't, but he might be just pretending, right? He has to act the whole time. Thanks to that, I was able to proceed normally without losing sight of my feet. I think it's pretty clear, though, that Yu doesn't have that condition. However, Yu turned on the flashlight, perhaps out of fear of the impact of the accident, and walked forward rather cautiously. Hint, hint.
おいちょっと待ってくれよ
Okay, wait a minute. Takeshi's like, it's dark in here. Or he's pretending. Takeshi screamed from behind me.
何やってんの？ちんたらしてると置いてくよ。
What are you doing? I'll leave you behind if you're too lazy.
ちんたらってお前なこの工具箱むちゃくちゃ重いんだぞ
Shintara, which is some sort of expression of frustration. This toolbox is ridiculously heavy, you know. But I rude you in there. Angry you, second person pronoun. When I turned around, Takeshi had put his toolbox on the floor and seemed to be breathing an affirmation. Yeah, he probably does not have the endurance and the strength of the real Takeshi. Because Takeshi was like a Chad. When he turned around, Takeshi had put the toolbox on the floor and seemed to be breathing heavily. And strong.
たくったらしないな。それじゃあ少年、手伝ってあげてよ。
I realized that Chad doesn't actually imply strength necessarily. Geez, you're so sloppy. Well then, young man, help him. Understood. I quickly made my way back to Takeshi, who was pretty behind, right? Yeah, it's probably who was behind. I mean, the kanji are right. Oh. Let me do a little fix. Turn that poboku into a boku. Oh, there we go. I quickly walked back to Takeshi, who was quite late. Still should be behind. Takeshi, I will help you.
お、悪いな。じゃあ、そっちから持ってくれ。
Sorry, then take it from here. Sorry, then take it from here. Okay, 2 people, one on the right, one on the left. We picked up the toolbox from the right and left sides. Both sides. Just OCR tends to, for some reason, delete the left kanji. Don't know why. Not every time it does it, but like the vast majority of the time it comes up, it just gets deleted.
助かったよ。このまま一人で持ってたら腕がもげるところだったぜ。
Here, you saved me. If I kept it by myself like this, would have lost my arm. That's an exaggeration, right? Yeah, that's an exaggeration is probably what he said. I mean, the second kanji gets completely mangled into something completely different. It's very unlikely to actually recover it because of the nature of this thing. It's power mouth over whatever the radical on the bottom is. Takeshi, watch your step. There's a step there.
おっと、危ねえ。
Oh. Oh, oops, that was dangerous. Takeshi caught his leg and almost fell over.
やれやれ。危うくすっ転ぶとこだったぜ。少年、サンキューな。
Good goof, I almost fell over. Thank you, boy. So he's not pretending. He does not have... He can't see in the dark. Interesting.
にしても、よく気づいたな、少年。こんなに真っ暗だってのに。
Anyway, I'm surprised you noticed, young man, even though it's so dark. Nudge, nudge. Huh? Is it that dark?
おーい、ずいぶん遅れちゃってますよ。
Sora says, hey, you're late, or you're behind. I heard Sora's voice in the distance.
おっといけねえ。それじゃあ行くか、少年。
Oh, oops, let's go, young man. Indeed. Yeah. Takeshi and I started walking. I don't know, carrying a heavy toolbox. Why is it doing that to me? Yeah, it's just Takeshi and I started walking, carrying the heavy toolbox. That's all it says. Eventually, by the time we caught up with you and Sora, Takeshi and I had arrived at our destination. Which basically means they got there first. And more words. Again, I don't understand why it says generator instead of craftwork. Because, like, why would that be? Why would there be any English? Anyway. The door and the area around it seemed to glow with an iron... The door and the area around it seemed to be glowing. Perhaps because it was made of fluorescent iron. Because he doesn't know exactly why they're glowing. Thanks to that, I can clearly see the yellow and black stripes around the door. Which does not make sense because you wouldn't have been able to see colors. It's like, okay, just spoilers. They can see infrared, right? That infrared wouldn't tell them what the visible colors would be. So if there were like black and yellow painted stripes, you might see a stripe pattern because the pigments have different opacity or different filtering effects in the infrared spectrum. But it would be specifically like yellow and black. Anyway. The plate on the door had words written on it, but it was written in Romanji. Although the Japanese do say alfabeto. That's what this here is. So I couldn't read it.
Huh. 重い荷物を持って歩いたせいで体が温まったのはいいけど、体中汗でベトベトだ。早く戻ってシャワーを浴びたいぜ。
Now, Sarah might be the one that points out that the door is hot because the kid doesn't know what the glow means. Probably because he did know what the glow meant and he lost his memory. And it's good that, but Sarah wouldn't have lost her memory, so she would know what something glowing means. It's good that my body's warmed up from walking around with all the heavy luggage, but my body's all sticky with sweat. I want to hurry back and take a shower.
シャワーを浴びるにしても発電機を直さないとね。
Even if you want to take a shower, we have to fix the generator. Also, the shower heating is probably electronic, so if you don't fix the generator, the shower will be cold, which might be what you want, but whatever.
そりゃそうか。だったら早く直そうぜ。それでここか？発電室ってのは。
Have you taken a cold shower? The answer is I've been in a situation where you have a tank water heater, and I've been in the shower so long that the water starts to get cold coming out of the tap, and when it gradually cools down like that, it's not that bad. Like, you still don't want to get out of the shower. Because I lose track of time. That's why I have a clock in my shower. Although, if you want to accelerate that process, you can have someone else take a shower before you. Or fill up a bathtub, or something like that. Or be running, like, the washing machine. I see. Then let's fix it quickly. So, this is at the generator room?
そうよ。それじゃあとりあえず扉を開けて覗いてみましょうか。
I think in the original, they actually have the kid be the one that warns you that the door is hot. But they try to pass it off as, not that the kid can see in infrared, but that the kid saw it, like, connected to, by a blinkwinkle, to the consciousness of Takeshi from the 2017 incident. And so he can kind of get that information from that, like that danger, right? Takeshi almost touching the door, he can get the information from that. And that's how that's explained. You held up the card she was holding to the panel next to the door. The blue light is on. Even if there is a blackout, the security seems to be on a different power source. You reached for the handle of the door, which was emitting light. And oddly, instead of Sar, the kid says, wait a minute.
ちょっと待って、ナキ先輩。
Oh, and then Sara does it. Wait a minute, not you. Sara grabbed Yu's arm, and I grabbed Yu's arm at the same time.
何どうしたの
And that's when Sara realized who the kid was. It's like, he knew it was hot. I know who this person is. What's wrong? Takeshi, you, and Sara were all staring at me. But why Sara? She would be staring at you. That... I can't find the right words to respond. It's like a reflex thing. I didn't remember. Why did I say that? I don't really get it myself. Sorry for reason I'm stalling. Yes, I don't know what's going on inside, but I thought it would be dangerous to open it all of a sudden. That's what I thought.
それじゃあマヨも
And then you too, Mayo?
え、私そうそう、私もそうだよ。
Yeah, me too.
だって発電機なんでしょ故障したのって。それでもしかしたら火災とか発生してるんじゃないかなって思って。
Yeah, I just realized there's like a couple like unexplained long pauses in the recording. I don't know how to deal with it. You're like, why? Because I got distracted by something very distracting. Very worrying. But anyway. I mean, it's the generator, isn't it? The one that broke down. Even so, I thought there might be a fire or something.
どれ試してみるか
Which? Let's try it out. Because she took some sweat off his body and flicked it towards the iron door. It would be less weird if you use spit. Like, it would be less smelly. With a murky sound, the droplets instantly evaporate. Murky sound? Okay. At the very least, the door is heated by a temperature high enough to evaporate the droplets.
本当だ。サラの言った通りだ。この扉、かなり熱いぞ。
It's true, it's just like Sora said, this door is pretty hot.
だけど変だな。つぐみと空を探しに行った時、制御室も見てみたけど、火事を示すアラームは出ていなかったぞ。
Come on. What about Tsugumi and Sora? Sora? What is it? It's strange, isn't it? When I went to look for Sora and Tsugumi, it's not with, that's a different way of using toe. I mean, Sora with Tsugumi would be like a legitimate translation, but that's not, it doesn't know the context, right? In this context, that combination of syllables is Sora and Tsugumi. I checked the control room, but there was no alarm indicating a fire.
火事ではないとすると、考えられるのは発電機から熱が漏れ出してるってことか
Come on. OCR's dying on me. If it's not a fire, then what I can think of is that heat is leaking out of the generator.
発電機のタービンを回すのって水蒸気かな。水蒸気といえば温泉か。
If it's water vapor that turns the turbines in a generator. Speaking of water vapor, isn't it a hot spring?
そういえばこの施設に温泉があるのよね。確か海底にある熱水噴出口から数百度という極めて高い温度の水を利用してるとか。
I guess the word onsen is actually acceptable in this context to describe geothermal vents. Come to think of it, there's a hot spring in this facility, isn't there? If I remember correctly, it uses water at extremely high temperature for several hundred degrees from a hydrothermal vent at the bottom of the sea. They call it hydrothermal? The moment I heard those words, something flashed in my head. Then, if you generate electricity using water at a high temperature coming out of that vent,
それでもしかしたら部屋の中で熱水を運んでるパイプかなんかが破裂して高温の蒸気が充満してるのかも。
maybe the pipe or something carrying the hot water inside the room ruptured, filling with high temperature steam.
ああ、困ったな。それじゃあ中に入れないじゃないか。
Yeah, that's a problem. Then we won't be able to get inside.
そうね。だとしたら。
Let's see. In that case,
ひとまず発電室に流れている熱水のバルブを閉めればいいんじゃないかしら。
for now, why don't we close the pipe of hot water flowing into the generator room or the valve?
熱水さえ止まればこの中の蒸気の放出も停止するはずよね。
Yeah, I think the barp is valve. If the hot water stops, the release of steam in there should stop too, right?
バルブ？それどこにあるんですか？
Valve? Where is that?
この部屋の近くにあるんじゃないか。とにかく熱いパイプだから危険とか注意とか何かしら書いてあると思うぞ。
Isn't that near this room? Anyway, it's a hot pipe, so I think it should have danger or caution written on it or something. And so we decided to follow Takeshi's suggestion and look for a nearby room. First, I head for the room to the right. I wonder if this room is okay. The door didn't seem to be glowing like the one in the generator room.
とりあえず開けてみますか。
I guess I'll open it for now. You placed the card she was holding, to the panel next to the door. The blue light turns on. And then you reach for the door handle.
この扉は大丈夫よね。
This door should be fine, right? Takeshi tried deflecting his own sweat toward the iron door again, but nothing happened this time.
どうやら大丈夫そうだな。
Yeah, it looks like it'll be okay. Takeshi put his hand on the handle. And he spun the handle around once and opened the door. Which probably just means 180 degrees. This is the warehouse, so it's not the right place. That room was a warehouse. There were replacement pipes and valves on the shelves.
この部屋じゃないみたいですね。
Well, this room is useful, but not the one we're looking for. Doesn't look like it's this room. Looks like this is just a warehouse.
じゃあ次行くか。
Okay, let's go to the next one. Next, I head to the room to my left. Takeshi opened the door after confirming it was safe, just like before. And here's the pipe room, although there isn't any valves in the art. There seem to be a large number of pipes strung up in that room.
なるほどね。この部屋がビンゴみたいね。
This looks like this room is for piping. You said lighting up the area with a flashlight. The pipes lead to the generator room next door, and by opening and closing the valves, it seems to be the pump? Yeah. Seems to be able to adjust water pressure and hydraulics. Let's see here. The pipes lead to the neighboring power generator room. It seems that water pressure and oil pressure can be adjusted by opening and closing the valves.
どうやらあのパイプみたいだな。高温注意とか危険とか書いてあるし。
Looks like that pipe. It says something about high temperature and danger. Well, didn't Tsugumi have to mess with several pipes? When I looked, Takeshi pointed to a pipe which was glowing with a fluorescent tip. I mean, a fluorescent sign that indicated danger. I saw a pipe that Takeshi was pointing to that had a... It's probably a fluorescent sign that indicated danger.
ほんじゃまあ作業に取り掛かるか。
Let's get to work. Or it could just be it was a glowing pipe and had a sign on it that indicated danger. Somehow the valve is insulated so you can close the valve without burning yourself. Like you touch the handle of the valve. Close the pipe that were filled with we closed the valves of the pipes which were glowing one by one.
これで全部終わったのかな？
Okay, so there are several pipes. Is this all over?
一応高温注意と書かれたバルブは全部閉めたからな。
We closed all the pipes labeled high temperature.
これで発電室には熱水は流れ込まなくなったはずだ。
With this, hot water should no longer flow into the generator room.
でも変なバルブとか閉めちゃってどこか破裂とかしないかしら。
But don't you think closing these up will make it explode somewhere else?
発電室が治ったら またパイプを元通りにすればいいんじゃないか。
Once the generator room is fixed, can't we just put the pipe back together again? So he's like, oh yeah, it'll burst, but can't we just fix it afterwards? No, because if it bursts, then there's no way to shut it off again. Like, there's no valve before the valve, right?
さて、あとは発電室の温度が下がるのを待つだけか。
All that's left is to wait for the temperature to drop in the generator room. So how long do we have to wait?
さあ、じゃ、俺はちょっと疲れたから、その辺で休むとするかな。
Well, I'm a little tired, so I guess I'll rest here. Okay. Saying that, Takeshi turned his back. There's no coffee, just turned his back. Sat down on the floor and fell asleep. What? Oh yeah, there's a wrong kanji in there. Okay. It's probably laid down on the floor and fell asleep. What should I do?
私はせっかくだからその辺をブラブラ探索しようと思います。ひょっとしたらコスミッシャーバルにつながる道があるかもしれないので見てきますね。
Since I'm here, I think I'll wander around and explore the area. There might be a way to get to Kazumishirval, so I'll take a look.
マヨ行っちゃうの？それじゃあ私も探索に行こうかしら。
Mayo, are you leaving? Well then, shall I go explore too?
ナッキュ先輩はここで休んでいてください。探索は私一人でもできますので。
Nakyu senpai, please rest here. I can search by myself.
それは嫌よ。
I don't want that. I can smell a choice coming on.
どうしてですか？
Why not?
だって倉成なんかと二人っきりになったら変なことされそうじゃない。
Well, yeah, if I'm alone with someone like Kurinari, I'll probably do something weird to me. What about me?
少年はマヨについて行ってあげて。一人じゃ危ないでしょ。私はマヨたちと別方向を探索するから。
You should go with Mayo. It's dangerous to be alone, right? I'll search in a different direction from Mayo and the others. And just no, there's no and the others from Mayo.
私は一人で大丈夫ですから。少年はナッキ先輩について行ってあげてね。
No, I'll be fine on my own. So you go with Nakyu. Let's see, which way should I go? So this is the big branch point, right? In the original game, the split between the U route and the Sara route was very simple. It was just at a choice, right? If you made there was like a keystone choice, and you didn't actually know it just looked like any other choice. Where if you chose one way, you'd end up in the Yu's route, another way you'd end up in Sara's route, just at that one choice. Unlike the Takeshi side, where yes, there was a key choice, where you could actually lock yourself into Tsugumi's route regardless of the points. But I also add this point aspect where if you picked one of the two choices, it would actually defer to points. The kids' side in the original, there were no even points. Like, it's just whatever you chose with that choice would determine things. Now, it was a little bit differently structured. I think how they did it is they went to the pipe, didn't really like explore like this. They went to the pipe room to close off the pipe, and I think you already knew what to do. And then they left Sara behind. And then when you finally get to the pipe room, before you actually shut the pipes off, the kid goes, well, maybe I should go back and check on Sara. And if you do, you end up in the Sara route. If you don't, you don't. This seems like, yes, this is different. They've made Sara come with you to the pipe room. But this is a place in the plot, roughly, where the choice happens, and it's like a clear split choice here. Now, I've been trying so far to do the best choices for you, so I'm going to go you, and try to do the you route first. The Sara route is actually more interesting, but that might actually mean that it might be blocked out. Kind of like it seems like the Tsugumi route was blocked out on the Takeshi side. So I might futilely pick Sara, and the more interesting one we'll save for later. So I'm doing you first. I will go with you. As in, with you, not you. Even the machine translator did that.
それでは拙者はあっちの道を調べてくるでござるの巻。
Well then, I'm gonna go investigate that way.
松永流忍術幻影陣。
Matsunaga Ninja Phantom whatever. Not yet. Sara formed a signal with her hands, or a sign with her hands as she said that, and the next moment, in a swift motion, she disappeared from the room like the wind. Can Sara really use ninja arts?
さあ。
You like, I don't know. We gaped at the door where Sara had disappeared. We walked down the corridor.
しかしほんとマヨって不思議な子よね。
But Mayo really is a mysterious girl. Oh, so if we don't go with her, we talk about her? Okay. It'd be like a guy, dang it. You talk about, like, it's like, you talk about the other person when you're with the other person, so you get, like, their information. Is Sara really a ninja?
さあ。だけど前に子供の頃から忍者の特訓とかしてたって言ってたから、本当に忍者なのかもしれないわね。
I don't know, but you said that she was training as a ninja when she was a kid, so maybe she really is a ninja. By the way, How did you know about Sora?
あれ言ってなかったっけ？マヨとは同じ女子校だって。
Didn't I tell you Mayo and I went to the same school? But in different grades, right?
同じ部活だったのよ。
We were in the same club. Same club.
部員不足で廃部寸前の部活に私が無理やり引き込んだわけだけど。
I was forced to join a club that was on the verge of disbanding due to the lack of members. You were? Or you forced her?
卒業してから会ってなかったけど、単なるバイト先でマヨに再会するとは思ってもいなかったな。
We haven't seen each other since graduation, but I didn't think I'd meet Mayo again in just a part-time job. Why'd you start working here? Did you run out of money? Did you want to try on the uniform?
そう、ここの制服が着てみたかったの。似合ってたでしょ？
I never imagined wanting to work anywhere to wear the uniform. Anyway, actually I got a whole hour. That's it for now. It looks good on me, doesn't it? Right? I want to try on the uniform. It looks good on me, doesn't it? No, actually, just kidding. Yeah. Okay. Talking about finding out about her parents.